Okay, when I was at the library today, I was thrilled beyond belief to find an Indiana map. The last one I'd gotten was when I was at the Atlanta Good Earth Festival. Oh, God. Probably over 10 years ago. You know, when I moved to Indianapolis, the first thing I did was buy a map book, and it was invaluable. And matter of fact, whenever I'd go someplace, the first thing I would buy would be a map of the area. Because there's honestly, what's on this map would take you probably 5 years of Google searches to find everything, and you wouldn't find it all. I mean, just look at all these little towns in Indiana. And it continues on. Just hundreds and hundreds of little towns. Just ripe to be ready to be explored. And some of them are just, probably no more than a few dozen households. But, look at all these parks and forest areas. You'll have, major colleges listed. And some of those major colleges are pretty small. Airports, hospitals. Even with computer technology, if you had, and I can't remember what the greatest thing in TV is, it's like 4 something. But you probably even couldn't get this on one of those TV. You might get this, but that? No. And let me show you approximately where I live here. I live right here in this area. Okay. Now, one thing I want to show you on here is first, let me show you where I grew up. Grew up here in the Muncie and Yorktown area. Now, way up here in Warsaw, which is not too far from Fort Wayne, but you basically can't take the interstate up to Warsaw, not without going to Indianapolis and Fort Wayne and over. So my grandparents had a lake cabin here on Little Barbie Lake. Just a little 2-bedroom affair. Kitchenette, a tiny little table to eat at, and a carport, and a little half bath that had a shower in it. And we'd go, and this was a, weekend fishing cabin. So basically, you were only in there to eat and sleep and take a shower. And I, fondly remember trips up to the lake when I was young. My grandparents sold it, sometime in the mid-70s. I know I was in middle school at the time, and we hadn't been up there for a couple of years. My dad had bought a Corvette, and my parents had joined the Anderson Corvette Association. At that time, they spent most weekends at Corvette events. A lot of parking lot races, fun runs, economy runs, drag racing, all with these old school Corvettes. And of course, you can't do that anymore because of liability. Thanks, lawyers. But anyway, if I ever get the chance, I want to try to find my grandparents' cabin. Hopefully it hasn't been torn down and something else built on there, but I doubt it because the lot was pretty small. The last time I looked at an aerial view of the lake, it was pretty built up all around there, so it may be gone by now. But you got all these other little lakes around here, and if that one, if I can't find what I want there, just a little place to go for the weekends, and I can rent it out during the summer and pay for the mortgage on it, because I'm sure fishermen and family would be willing to pay $500 a week through the summer, cheaper than a hotel. And, yeah, that would pay for the mortgage and probably pretty quickly.